Here is the S&D 50 following championship game week. We'll run through teams 50 through 15 in sets of 5, and then the final 15 we will reveal one by one.
Yeah, I mean, big thing here is UNLV slid and Georgia Tech rose.
Toledo, they lost their head coach this week, left for UConn.
Kennesaw State, say it with me, plank, 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 plank. They exercise their demons that they had from losing the first time at Jacksonville State. Quite the sight to behold.
Western Michigan came out, asserted their control, didn't really let go.
First MAC title since PJ Fleck.
They got their head coach tied up.
Kansas State sitting out a bowl game.
I kind of get it. For Kansas State specifically, I also kind of don't.
They got Colin Klein coming back home, a reunion. It'll be exciting to see what he can do with them.
He's done a great job at Texas A&M.
Matt Campbell, Penn State finally found their guy, and honestly, they found a good one.
Boise State up 14 spots. Note, not ahead of New Mexico still.
Virginia's overtime loss is misleading if you didn't watch that game. That shouldn't have even gone to overtime.
And I learned something new about overtime rules. Darian Menza gets knocked down throwing the touchdown pass in overtime. That penalty wasn't applied to the point after. It was applied to Virginia's field position on the second half of overtime. So Virginia started overtime backed up 15 yards. I just didn't know.
3 in a row from Boise. Spencer Danielson now has not lost a Mountain West title since taking over, which he took over as an interim head coach 3 years ago. Old Dominion has had a great year. 9-3, the second best team in the Sun Belt behind James Madison, but they took a hit this week in the transfer portal, losing their quarterback, who has been such a key part of their team. Colton Joseph enters the portal after having a 3,600 total yard year, as well as 34 touchdowns. So some P4 programs about to get a good QB. South Florida finds their head coach, Brian Hartline, which I heard Penn State wanted him, but rumor had it he wasn't interested in Penn State, but he's interested to leave Ohio State as the OC for the South Florida head coaching job. So beautiful. Seeing Duke win the ACC just brought a lot of joy, and a lot of the committee's deficiencies has been made right in a way by Duke winning the ACC, thus allowing James Madison in. But thank you, Duke. Thank you, Darian Mensah. Your former team, Tulane, is going to the playoffs, but you are an ACC champion.
Iowa State loses Matt Campbell to Penn State.
Jimmy Rogers is next. They pluck him from Washington State after 1 year there. Jimmy Rogers, the former head coach at South Dakota State, won 2 titles there.
Washington State almost beat Ole Miss. They almost beat Virginia, and they almost beat James Madison. Jimmy Rogers, he's got it going, so it'll be exciting to see if he can bring it to Iowa State. North Texas, they had a lot of bad breaks in that Tulane game. If you didn't watch the game and you just looked at the box score, you said, oh, Tulane, they were just better. But if you watched that game, there were a lot of bad breaks that made me think, if North Texas is playing at home, does this happen the same way? I don't know.
I don't think so. The first bad break was the committee ranking Tulane higher than North Texas. So, and then it snowballed from there.
Tulane, Jake Retzloff, former BYU quarterback, now takes Tulane to the playoff.
It's funny. He left the power conference program, and it's now on the outside looking in, and he's front and center and has a chance to go redeem himself at Ole Miss in a rematch.
What I liked about that Tulane game, though there were bad breaks for North Texas, Tulane just was so much more physical than North Texas.
It sounds like Michigan fans were reveling in Ohio State not being able to capture the Big Ten title yet again.
Alabama falls 2 spots.
We don't prevent teams from falling just because they played a good opponent. If you lose rating points, you lose rating points.
The S&D 50 has been taking so much hate for showing our current rankings and what the playoffs would look like, it's been James Madison and an American champion taking those final 2 automatic qualifying spots. And everyone's just been mocking it and being like, that would never happen. No way. Well, it's here. And this is why I love college football.
2 things that annoy me. You sweep 2 losses under the rug that are atrocious, and you don't rank them properly heading into the final rankings when you had every opportunity to do so.
The correct situation would have been to put Miami at 9 and Notre Dame at 10 before conference championship week. Put Alabama at 11 and BYU 12 and say to the Tide and the Cougars, say, win and you're in. You have the path, but you have to show that you're a playoff capable team.
BYU at 12. That's right. Even in the S&D 50, you lose 34-7 to Texas Tech. You slide down 5 spots. At number 11, this is the team no one is talking about. That was put squarely in the field for who knows what reason. And not only in the field, they get to host a playoff game. Oklahoma is the team we must stamp and say, how does this happen? Spencer, how does Utah end up in the top 10 ahead of BYU? This is outrage.
Shouldn't be outrage if you followed our model for any amount of time, because we do not care about head-to-heads.
At number 9, Texas A&M. Up 2 spots. At number 8, we have the Texas Longhorns.
And they have arguably the best win and the best loss in the country. But when Georgia then goes and wins the SEC, our model basically says, let's give you back some of the 185 points you lost, because that team was actually better than we thought they were at the time, which was just enough for them to slip ahead of Texas A&M by 3 points. Which, hey, head-to-head, I guess.
At number 7, Ole Miss. At number 6, down 2 spots, Oregon. Notre Dame sits at 5 to end the regular season in the S&D 50.
Biggest snub of these playoffs. This team could have won the national championship.
It's about how they won those games.
Notre Dame sitting out their bowl game.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I know Spencer hates it. I love it. Force the committee's hand. Force college football's hands.
I hate it. I hate everything about this team sitting out a bowl. I think it needs to be fixed. And I'll tell you how you fix it is NIL. You fix it by doing NIL contracts that penalize people for skipping bowl games.
Ultimately, what I want to end with here is what makes this sport so beautiful is that it is imperfect and that it needs work, and there is not a surefire solution. At number 4, oh my gosh, Ohio State's at 4. This is an outrage. They played Indiana close. Why the heck are they at 4?
I gotta see who 2 and 3 are, but the fact is they didn't win their conference championship game. They didn't lose a ludicrous amount of points. They're in a great position.
Number 3, up 5 spots. Texas Tech.
They're scary. People are not giving them enough credit. That is a dangerous team.
At number 2, up 3 spots, the Georgia Bulldogs. We said it last week. Georgia just plays their game, and as a result, they have been slowly climbing the S&D 50 all year. They dominate Alabama. They assume the rightful place at 2 as the SEC champion. I love it. And at number 1, who'da thunk it? A team we've had in the top 2 all season, it feels like. Indiana at 1. What a win against Ohio State. They went for the jugular. They played to win. They executed. I loved every second of this. If you've made it this far, subscribe to the channel